31 years is a long time to call a place home, especially a place like Idaho. Go ahead and take a look at where I'm at today. This is Hayden Lake. It is a beautiful fall day, and that's not what I'm here to talk about today. I'm here, I wanted a pretty background so you guys don't get bored with my video, but I am here to tell you about the things that I've learned about living in Idaho while being here for 31 years. Some of these are gonna be really funny, others are gonna be helpful, and some are just ridiculous. But no matter what, if you're thinking about moving to Idaho, you're gonna wanna watch this video because you're gonna learn some things about what it's like living here. Let's go. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Living Life in North Idaho. My name is Trent, and on this channel, we talk about what it's like living, eating, working, playing, and buying real estate here in Idaho. So if that's something that's of interest to you, make sure you tap the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so every time I come out with a new video, you get notified. And guys, I'm serious when I say this. I have people just like you that have been watching these videos and they're serious about getting moved to Idaho, or they're still trying to figure out if Idaho is the right place for them, and we absolutely love it. So if this is you and you're serious about getting moved to Idaho, reach out at the phone number or email address listed below. There's also the website on there. If you're not ready to talk to anybody, but you want to see what's going on in our market, that's totally fine too. We try not to bug people. We don't need to bug people, but every once in a while you might get a message. So just know on the website, you're mostly left alone. All right, so let's dive into this video. 31 years here in Idaho. And I gotta be honest, I did not choose all 31 of those years. By the time I was 18, my parents brought me here when I was 6. By the time I was 18, almost all of my friends and family had left to go somewhere else to find more opportunity, better ways of making an income, because Idaho is pretty sparse. There weren't a lot of options. And so at 19 years old, I was in the military, got my fiance pregnant, ended up having a kid, which meant that I was now here in Idaho. And for many of those years, it was pretty tough trying to make a living, trying to have a family, but I made it through it. And now life is very, very different. Those lessons taught me that life here in Idaho is worth it, even if you have to struggle a little bit, because at the end of the day, the opportunity doesn't always mean that it's better, right? Grass isn't always greener. So in those 31 years though, I've learned a lot of things about living in this place. Some of them funny, some of them are gonna help you, and other things are just ridiculous. So let's just dive in. First one is, cheaper is rarely as good as the expensive stuff.
Don't get cheap on me, Dodson.
I just let you know, in the city, you have more options. There's more places to get services, to buy things, and so you can sometimes find a deal. In a place like Idaho, there's just not that many outfits doing a service, like plumbers, electricians, mechanics, things like that. And so when you think you're finding a good deal, you're not. You're finding the guy who can't charge anymore because he's not as good. So just know, trying to find a really good deal here in Idaho doesn't always work out. I understand. I was in a position where I had to buy cheap for a while.
Cheap? You think I'm cheap?
I just know I had to replace that stuff a lot sooner. So if you're buying something here in Idaho, I'd say go for the good stuff. Another thing I've learned about living here in Idaho, the ice does not care how careful you plan on driving. What I mean by that is there has been years that I am like, I'm not buying the snow tires. They're a ripoff. They don't help. Or I don't need all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive. I'll just front-wheel drive. We'll cut it. And I promise you, the ice does not care. If you don't have the proper equipment, the proper vehicle, you're going to have a real hard time here in Idaho, and in many years that I had to deal with that. And I became a pretty good driver in the snow, but I do have some accidents on my record. Not anymore. They fell off. But yeah, you just don't want to mess around when you're here in Idaho. The ice, it just doesn't care what your intentions are or how slow you plan on driving. You hit ice, you don't have the right equipment, you're going off the road. Another thing I've learned about living in Idaho, too many people is less than you think. What I mean is, in 92, I moved here, there were 76,000 people in Kootenai County. Today, there's 181,000. That is a massive growth. And yeah, there's been times where I feel like, oh my gosh, there's a lot of people here, it's too many. But the fact is that there's still plenty of space. I think every space, eventually, people find it. But it's how much public access you have to get away from those people. That really counts. And here in Idaho, you have thousands of miles of places to go get lost and not see another human soul. And I think that's good. Which leads me to my next point. City planners are worth their weight in gold. So a lot of the reasons people feel like there's too many people here in Idaho is because of the traffic, is because of the way the cities have been laid out. Like Post Falls, they're going through some massive construction right now, and it's a pain in the butt. It's so congested, but that's because the city planners just kept it loosey-goosey for so many years. They're just like, sure, fast food, we'll throw some houses here. How about some car dealerships? Now, I know that the city planners don't get to choose what types of businesses, but they get to choose the zoning and how much they want to tax, or not tax, but put on business owners to make it have a certain look. You know, city planners, city council, they have the power to do that stuff. And Post Falls just did not. They were not about that. They were about small government, and that's great, but city planners are pretty dang important. Another thing I've learned, and I will stand by this, cars are useless, trucks are where it's at. Now, I know a lot of people go, I don't need a truck, cars are just fine. But I'll tell you, if you plan to move to Idaho and you want to do the outdoor thing, you're going to want a truck. And if you want to do the landscaping thing, you're going to want a truck. And if you need to move furniture from Costco, you're going to want a truck. I'm just telling you, I did a lot of years without a truck. And now that I have one, I will never not have one. Trucks are really good to have up here in Idaho, especially going and exploring some of these back roads, the logging roads. I mean, even just the potholes you're going to deal with, a truck is going to handle those a lot better than a car. So that's my opinion. You can fight me, but trucks are where it's at. Now, this is one you might laugh at, but I'm being very serious right now. If your mood follows our weather pattern, you might just be bipolar, because Idaho's weather is absolutely crazy. Like, it's gorgeous today. This morning, it was kind of clear. Then it got really, really foggy, lots of clouds, and now it's beautiful out. It just does that. That's just what it does, and that's the way it is, and there's nothing we can do about it. But just know that can also affect your mood. That can affect mental health. And so if you find that your mood is swinging a lot during the fall or spring or winter or whatever because our weather's crazy, you might want to go talk to somebody. Now, this one's a bit of a knee slapper, but I am telling the truth. This is very serious. Camouflage is a fashion, and it's always in season, baby. A lot of people wear camo. That's just part of being in Idaho, man. And there's some pretty cool gear out there that's camo. My wife, she made comments, so I'm not going to wear camo anymore just out and about. I'll wear it out in the woods. But yeah, camo is part of our fashion here in Idaho. Everybody needs a good pair of camo jeans, camo shirt, camo boots, whatever you need. Camo bras. Just kidding. Don't do that. That'd be weird. But yeah, camo's a thing here in Idaho. Just, you're going to get used to it. I think I'm going to get a lot of people who agree on this one. If it's beautiful and a lot of fun, it's not going to be cheap. And what I mean by that, I'm not talking about people. I'm talking about sports. I'm talking about wake surfing. I'm talking about dirt biking or snow biking or snowmobiling. Any of the really fun, beautiful things here in Idaho, it costs a lot of money. And that sucked growing up in Idaho and not having money. See a lot of people having a lot of fun. Now I'm finally in a place that I can do that too. But yeah, just know, I mean, hiking, swimming, fishing, all that stuff is pretty dang cheap. But to have a lot of fun and see a lot of beautiful things, you want to get out there. But it's not cheap. Now you're going to think I'm joking, but I am dead serious when I say this. Costco memberships. You don't have to have one to survive here in Idaho, but why would you do that to yourself?
Welcome to Costco. I love you.
I mean, you're going to want stuff for being here in Idaho. You're going to want a snowblower. You're going to want a pressure washer. You're going to want new wiper blades. You're going to want a year's supply of toilet paper. I promise you, Costco is where it's at. And with the savings that you will experience by shopping at Costco, this is not sponsored. This is just my passion and love for Costco. But the savings that you'll have will allow you to take time off of work and go protest a far leftist liberal movement. And we can start bringing this country back together. If everybody just shopped at Costco, I think we could save this country. But I'm serious, you're going to want a Costco membership. Second to last thing I've learned, and those who live here, you are going to laugh. It's okay to support your friend in their ventures. but it doesn't mean you need to follow them into the same pit of despair with multi-level marketing companies.
You sell you. You sell you using Allez-vous.
I don't know what it is about this area. My parents have been in like 4. I have been in some because I like the product, but I never once try to sell it to my friends, okay? But just know you're going to meet people who have their own little business, and they're going to want you to join because the opportunities are so amazing.
Now, if you invest in the 24-piece set, I'm going to throw in a little gift.
I want that.
It's not for everybody. I know some people who've made a lot of money, and I know people who have lost money. And so you don't have to do it. Just learn to say no to MLMs. Now, this last one is pretty personal to me, but I believe it's easier to find God in the mountains and nature than it is anywhere else. Now, we have a ton of churches around this area, and they're great. They serve their purpose. But I'll tell you, I never met God in a church like I have out in these woods and out in these mountains. It really is something special about going out and getting lost a little bit and just getting with your thoughts, getting with your feelings, really figuring out who you are. Anyway, I don't want to get all choked up on that stuff, but heading in for my surgery on Thursday. So I'm going to be out for a couple of weeks. I'm going to still try to be making these videos, but I just wanted to let you guys know my team is available and ready to help you if you're ready to get moved to Idaho. And if you are, reach out. The phone number, email address listed below. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video. Let me know in the comments if any of these were helpful to you or which ones you found funny. And if you are serious about getting moved to Idaho, like I said, give us a call. Till the next one, I'll see you later.